It's 3:15, and that means it's time for
The Real Deal with Bill McNeil.
That's right. Welcome once again to The Real Deal with Bill McNeil. I'm your host, Bill McNeil, and you're probably wondering exactly what is the real deal today.
Hey, good question.
Welcome back to Thinking Critical. This is Wes. We've had a big weekend. I meant to cover this yesterday, but we've got some situations going on at the house. Like the kids are sick. Now I'm sick. But I finally got to it today. And we are going to talk about the Labor Day opening for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which is far bigger than they ever anticipated. It turns out it's blown away the Labor Day weekend opening records. They've been rewritten by Shang-Chi and the MCU. Now, I obviously reported on this a couple of weeks ago when the box office estimations were very poor. The high end was coming in at like 55,000, which would have it would have been like the lowest performing opening weekend in MCU history. You know, right under The Incredible Hulk, which came out a very long time ago. And those projections, if they kind of just got worse as time went on. I believe even the Friday after Shang-Chi had actually opened in theaters, like for the preview shows on Thursday, they were projecting it to actually do 40 million, which would have been significantly less than The Incredible Hulk. That would have been like 15 million less. So Incredible Hulk did just over 55 million. And all of a sudden, Saturday, boom, all the numbers changed. Apparently, there was so much good word of mouth. And I think people are tired of being inside. They decided to venture out and go see this movie. Now, there is a group of people that went and saw my video from 2 weeks ago and were like, eat it, Wes, in your face. I was just reporting the information that was available. These aren't my whims. And like these aren't my personal box office projections. These are from the industry itself. So the industry can eat it. You know, blow me. I didn't make these numbers up. And I always source this information within the video description as well. So if you're one of those people like, eat crow. Eat crow for what? I didn't say it was going to fail. They did. I was just reporting it. And then I was talking about the things it had going against it. Obviously, it was able to overcome those. Some people might point to this being like a Captain Marvel situation. Remember when that movie was coming out and it got a lot of bad press from Brie Larson on on tour scene where she was giving interviews and trying to promote the movie. And it did not go all that well. She turned a lot of people off, and all of a sudden they chunked off a substantial portion of the projections on that one. And everyone's like, Brie Larson is screwed up the MCU. I made a video about that as well. This is a little different because, a week out to Captain Marvel coming out, they readjusted all the projections back to where they were before because it was clear that they weren't going to be impacted. It was going to make as much as, if not more than they originally projected. So that one you could tell a week out that people had decided that they were interested in Captain Marvel. We're going to go see it. With Shang-Chi, they did not realize this until like Saturday. So we're talking mid-weekend before they realized that their initial projections, which they were downgrading, were off, and it was going to do substantially better. So Shang-Chi ended up smashing the Labor Day record with a 4-day haul of $90 million, and it was the second biggest 3-day debut of the pandemic year so far, following Black Widow. So Black Widow outperformed it. Black Widow was also available on Disney Plus, and I think they made another $60 million off that one. So Black Widow probably kind of just destroyed it. It also came just over Fast 9. Fast 9, I think, did 70 million on its opening 3-day weekend. Shang-Chi actually did 75.5 million on 4,300 locations on the 3-day weekend. Obviously, Labor Day is weird. Anytime you do these 4-day holiday weekend openings, it always skews the numbers. You get multiple different kinds of reporting because you get the Labor Day holiday weekend reporting, then you get the standard 3-day weekend reporting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it looks like globally, Shang-Chi is going to haul in $127.6 billion. So it's been a huge success, far more successful than they were anticipating leading up to this. As recently, like as Friday, all the numbers got changed on, as I mentioned, on Saturday. As for September releases in general, only the Stephen King movie, the very first one from 2017, and It Chapter 2, the sequel, have topped Shang-Chi's domestic opening performance in September. Not exactly a month known for huge openings, but It Chapter 2 both did very well, and Shang-Chi's sitting right behind them, which has to be an enormous success. Labor Day weekend's weird as well. It's not traditionally a holiday weekend like 4th of July, where it's that big blockbuster weekend because everyone goes in and sees movies, whatever the big popcorn flick is. Generally speaking, a lot of people travel on Labor Day weekend, or maybe they'll go out to the lake or their barbecue or whatever. They're not really looking to go to a movie like they do on certain other holidays. So it's generally kind of avoided. If you have a big movie that you think has an opportunity to kick ass and take names, Labor Day weekend is not typically where you would put it. Obviously, things are changed. Theaters are now opening up. It's still unsure how confident people are going out. We've seen that's changing. But as far as Labor Day weekend, the previous record was Halloween from 2007, which earned $30.6 million over the 4 days. So this $90 million like tripled it, absolutely destroyed it as far as the records. Could we have seen this coming? Potentially. I don't know if you're a sports fan, but this past weekend was opening weekend for college football. So there was like college football from Thursday all the way to, I think, Monday or Sunday at least. I need some water. And those stadiums were full. And if you are an international viewer and you are not all that aware of U.S. football, as far as college football goes, those stadiums typically, the bigger ones hold in between like 70,000 and 100,000 people. And I think they get bigger than that if you talk about like the University of Tennessee, Michigan, stuff like that. They were full. We're talking 100,000 people decided to get together in the stadium and watch a football game together. So it's clear that people are becoming a little bit more comfortable going out and being in gatherings. At least a portion of them are. At least 100,000 people are willing to get into a stadium together. So perhaps it's going to bleed over into the movie audience as well. Hopefully we'll see the box office continue expanding, because it definitely did look like the movie industry as we knew it might not be with us anymore. Like it would all be viewing at home. You weren't going to have a lot of movie theaters anymore. But it looks like maybe they have weathered the storm and we're going to come out of it. Obviously, this is a big deal for Disney. Previous to this, with Black Widow, with Jungle Cruise, with Mulan, not Mulan, what was the other one? With Cruella, they were doing these dual releases where they were releasing it in theater, but they were also releasing it on Disney Plus for $30, where you could watch it at home for that premium price. We do know, obviously, that Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney. Bob Chapek, the CEO, did not handle it very well. Kind of made himself look like an ass, in my opinion. But so they changed their strategy after that. Obviously, they don't want any more lawsuits. It turns out a lot of their contracts, as far as pay and bonus money to be paid, is based on box office performance. Scarlett Johansson said, "I would have made more money if you would release this in theaters like you were supposed to. We never discussed releasing it simultaneously, on Disney Plus." And they're going to litigate that, and it'll go through. But so with Shang-Chi, and I think with Free Guy, those were the first two Disney released films that were just straight theater releases. I think in 45 days you'll be able to get it on Disney Plus. And this was considered an experiment. Simu Liu, the star of Shang-Chi, got bent out of shape, took that way out of context. But it looks good. Obviously this isn't like the most amazing numbers in the history of the world, but they're good numbers. We do know that the opening weekend was better than Fast 9. That one has gone over 750 million. So, this thing's going to do very well with the projected opening numbers that we have so far. And I don't think Shang-Chi it hasn't opened up in all the international box offices yet. I don't think they have a date for China, which I think in their minds is really important. So we shall see if this will continue Disney's trend of actually releasing films in theater exclusively before going with the Disney Plus route where they offer it later. As far as the movie itself and the importance of Shang-Chi moving forward, there at the end they started changing the marketing where essentially they were calling Shang-Chi, like the titular character, as Marvel's new Avenger. We haven't heard anything, obviously, about the Avengers since Endgame. We've lost, Tony Stark, no longer with us. Steve Rogers, Captain America, is too old. He's had to retire. Who else we lose? We lost Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. It appears Thor is going to be losing his Mighty Thor role over to Jane Foster. So they are reshaping what the Avengers are going to be moving forward. And it appears that Shang-Chi is going to be a big part of that. Now, in comic books, he was kind of just like the master of kung fu. In the movie, it sounds like they've changed his role. He's more mystical, more related to like the Doctor Strange kind of, like the mystical realm of Marvel Comics. Obviously, having the 10 rings in there, that would be something that you would expect the Mandarin, who's an Iron Man villain. Also, I believe in this film, you got to see the return of Abomination, who we haven't seen since that Incredible Hulk movie. Abomination was actually really good in that movie. I thought that was probably the best part, or one of the best parts. But now Shang-Chi is a child of an immortal conqueror, a warrior from another dimension, and the current wielder of the mysterious 10 rings. They did do a little bit to explain what the 10 rings are and their significance moving forward. There's a mid-credit scene where we have Bruce Banner. We've got Benedict Wong, obviously associated with Doctor Strange, and Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. And we learn that the 10 rings themselves are emitting some type of beacon to an unknown part of the universe. So somebody's going to come to retrieve those. Also, we did have Bruce Banner tell Shang-Chi and Katie, welcome to the circus. Very similar to the little introduction to Tony Stark in the original Iron Man movie with the post-credit scene where he had Samuel L. Jackson's character, Nick Fury, where he had Nick Fury say, there are things going on that you have no idea. Welcome to a bigger world kind of thing. There's also another post-credit scene that established Shang-Chi's sister, Xialing, as a new leader of the 10 Rings, and a message that they will return as an organization. Not sure exactly what that means. Will they be in the sequel? Will they be in something else? Not really sure. So good news for Disney and the MCU. If you are an MCU fan, an MCU stan, and you are getting worried about the long-term viability as far as a movie franchise, certainly aren't hitting the numbers that they were pre-pandemic, but nobody is. But this was a good opening. It certainly shattered their estimations, performed far better than they could have imagined. It did not set the record for lowest opening movie in the MCU history. It, in fact, broke all kinds of records for Labor Day weekend, and it's the third biggest opening weekend in the entire month of September in the movie industry as far as domestic box office in the United States. We'll see what happens with the Eternals. Should we keep doubting these MCU projects that, whether or not there's some viability, whether or not they're going to be able to make it work? Now, I will say this. The word of mouth for Shang-Chi was, generally speaking, really, really good. I had plenty of people say that, or tell me that this was like the best origin story for an MCU character since Iron Man. Obviously, there's been a lot of origins since then, so that was a high praise. I've also seen some other people say it was terrible, but you don't hear that very often. You're mostly hearing that it's either good or really, really good as far as an MCU movie. But, I've also been told it is an MCU movie. So you've got the same tropes, kind of same story beats that you get within the MCU. So they're not exactly breaking the formula yet. Me personally, I'm most excited to see the Spider-Man No Way Home movie, to see how they're going to kind of handle the multiverse. That could go terribly wrong. You could use that so much as a cheat code to really change and alter the universe and make things that have happened unimportant, kind of like with what we saw with Loki, where all of a sudden, they pull the drawer out and you've got all those, multiple versions of Infinity Stones as if they were never all that important to begin with. I think that was a kind of a big mistake. We shall see what happens. The next MCU offering after this will be Eternals. After that, we'll have Spider-Man No Way Home. I think in between there, we'll have the MCU Disney Plus series Hawkeye, where they introduced Kate Bishop as the new Hawkeye, the replacement Hawkeye with Jeremy Renner. I believe it's going to be. I don't believe it's going to be Haley Steinfeld playing the character. I think that was a good casting. I think it should be exciting. Definitely going to be checking that one out. I'm going to see if my buddy Skip will come on here and review it with me. Hopefully he will. So we'll be checking that out. Now, for those of you who are like, Wes, are you going to see Shang-Chi? No, it's 4.5 hours away for a theater. I have a newborn that's only 3 months old. I also have a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old. I would have to get the entire family together with a hotel room to go to a movie. And it's certainly, I mean, as good as Shang-Chi sounds like it is, it's not that movie. And also, like I said at the beginning, to all the people that would want to say, eat it, Wes, you didn't predict this right. Those weren't my predictions. Those were the numbers coming out for the industry, so you can blow me. I didn't get anything wrong. I reported the information that was available at the time. It changed literally halfway through the weekend. Shit happens. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.